Most of you by now probably heard about Joel Turner and his...
I'd say Bodie Turner.
Bodie Turner, Joel Turner. I guess Bodie's a shooter. They claim that one soft knot is better than two. And I understand the theory behind it, the logic behind it, but we played with it for, I don't know, probably a month now?
Yeah.
Maybe a little better. I haven't noticed any real... I mean, it's not like it's going to change your shot or how good a shooter you are tomorrow, but I think in the long run it could help. It's simpler, super simple. So we'll show you. You can play with it, don't play with it, do what you want to do, but explain the logic and why a lot of you target guys probably want to look into it. So let's see if I can blow this bow up. There it is. One soft knot on the bottom.
That's a double constrictor knot, is what that is. That is the double overhand knots where you run two on top, two on the bottom. Or, well, not on the bottom, not on top. Is they do seem to move.
Mm-hmm. You can move them.
And then you get knock pinch going on. The problem that I seen, well, I shouldn't say I seen, but I guess Joel and Bodie would have seen, is you create, your D-loop actually wants to go like that, and you're not actually getting square knock pressure all the way through. It's actually just a little canted. But if you're doing it this way, that knock is perfectly square with, if you look at the D-loop or that hook in relation to the back of that knock is almost dead center, but it's actually a little bit above, which creates positive pressure pushing down. So it keeps the arrow on your rest. So in theory, with dropaways too, everybody thinks that these drop immediately. They don't. They actually, when you shoot your bow in slow motion, you watch it on Hooter shooters or whatever, that rest stays up for a certain amount of time before it drops. Well, if you can keep this arrow perfectly riding on this rest with good form and everything else that goes with that, your accuracy should go up. Now, if you're drawing back and your arrow's lifting, that's bad deal.
Yeah, you got other problems.
Yeah, it's not good. You're creating positive knock pressure from the bottom side, which is actually lifting your arrow instead of from the top.
Which is what the top knot they claim was doing, was putting pressure on the top of the...
Right. So if you're gonna tie two soft knots, which plenty of guys will still do it, I think what you should do is you should tie 4 or 5 knots on the bottom and maybe 2 on top.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you're creating that same gap. I still think you can tie 2 soft knots, but honestly I think this is just as easy. And really the only benefit that I ever seen with the 2 soft knots is if you ever have a D-loop issue, you cut your soft knot, or you cut your D-loop off and just retie it. Yep. It's a super simple reference point.
But this still gives you a reference point.
This does.
Still got one on the bottom.
Yep.
You just gotta put a knock in it and gap it a little bit.
And the other thing I seem to notice with this one is you need way less gap in this versus having 2 soft knots. You had to have at least a minimum of 2 servings. This, if you have 1 to half a serving, it's fine. There's no change in tune. There's nothing changes. So that's why I like it. It's easy. You can buy a roll of that Magibraid 80-pound Dacron like for $30, and if you're just your average guy doing it yourself, that'll last you probably the rest of your life.
Good chance.
Yeah, it's cheap insurance, and it burns out beautiful. So that's why we do it that way.
It works. Try it, play with it, see what you think. Thanks for watching, guys.